Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Curious Radio, episode 44. We're just trucking along this bad boy. This week, I brought on a really cool guest. I brought on Antonio de la Peña, and Antonio is a BIA, which stands for Behavior Intervention Assistant. And man, we had a great conversation. I'm fascinated by his line of work, so yeah, I think you guys are really going to enjoy that. And before we proceed, I want to give a quick shout out to one of our listeners, Roberto Velasco, up in the Bay Area. Shout out to you, brother. You're doing the work, man. Thanks for supporting the podcast, and you just keep doing the damn thing, man. You're doing great. Anyway, so yeah, without further ado, here is episode 44. Enjoy. What's going on, brother? How are you, man?
I'm doing well.
We're rolling, bro.
Okay, cool. Good to know.
What's going on? It's good to have you, bro. It's Friday. You off of work. I wanted to have you on, man, because the other night we were at the W. We were chilling at the. You know, it's funny. Yep. I was thinking about this shit. I was like, we were hanging out, and you and I we started talking, right? We started riffing, and there's like an artist performing live, and we completely missed the whole fucking shit. We were turning around like, yo, can you?
I was multitasking though.
Yeah, I was too loud. I think
I was listening and.
Hey, can you shut up, bro? There's a show going on. And I'm like, my bad. But I'm fascinated by what you do, bro. I'm fascinated just because, like, we talk a lot here about like human behavior, and I feel like there's a lot of different parallels in behavioral tendencies in humans, and people almost like chalk it up to that's just the way shit is. So like, first I want you to describe to our listeners like what your job title is and what exactly you do.
Cool, perfect. I'm a behavior intervention assistant. That's my job title.
Dope.
I started off at this school, this special needs school, as a one-on-one aide. So I was a one-on-one aide for about 2 years, and then just recently, a year ago, I got
one-on-one aide. So you deal with one person at a time at all times.
Correct.
And they only have you one assigned.
Yeah. So actually, let me explain the school first. No, chill.
No,
chill, no.
Go to your bed. Go to your bed. Chill out. I'm trying to eat and shit.
Basically, the school that I work at is a special needs school. It's basically what I was explaining earlier. I used the analogy. It's the Rikers Island of behaviors. You know,
yeah,
so basically,
it's the last resort.
When certain students are in the public school setting and they're classified as special needs and their behaviors are so extreme, the public school setting can't help them.
Yeah,
they don't have the resources.
Yeah,
so they send them to our school. So the school that I'm at,
to what extent though? Is it like extreme like behavior?
Extreme behavior. So an example of a behavior could be aggression.
Okay. So it could just be like a little badass kid, kind of like how
I was. It could be, but extreme.
Yeah.
Extreme. Or self-injurious.
Okay.
So maybe they're hitting themselves.
Or they cut themselves or something.
Whether there's so many different ways to be self-injurious. Yeah. Or just whatever particular behavior that they engage in, it's like
and to another level,
to a whole nother level.
Like, yo, we sending you.
It's raw data.
Yeah.
Unsocialized.
Oh shit.
Unconditioned. Yeah. It's the brain really just reacting to a particular scenario in an extreme way. Okay. So, for example, and it's all different types of districts. So at my school, there's like maybe 20 different districts.
So they all come from different parts of so some of them bus in from far, then I bet.
Yeah. So for example, I'm a bus aide from Compton.
Okay.
So I go to Compton and I pick up 4 students on a bus and they take me in the.
I
don't drive.
Okay.
But you know, but
shit, that's a hard job, bro. You gotta drive these kids around too. Shit.
Nah, that's too much. Yeah. I can't multitask that way.
Yeah, for real.
But so me myself personally, I go from Compton to La Habra every day.
Fuck.
There and back, busing these kids. And
the world famous Compton, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. CPT.
I know, right?
Yeah, and hey, these kids act like they're from Compton.
Oh,
like they got a whole different, because you know behavior's all learned.
Because
it's all learned. You know, that's the one thing I'll always say is behavior's learned.
It's really crazy because I've always, it's funny because even in relationships, right? People always say like things like somebody's got daddy issues or mommy issues and shit. I'm like, that even though it gets thrown around so much now, it has a lot of validity into it because we just download our behavior from our parents. Like when we see if we just have a shitty parent, that's what we think normal behavior is, and it's wiring our brain to have this flawed mindset and react in specific ways because you have another person who's in front of you who has these same issues,
Right. And that's the thing. The brain from ages 0 to 7, the brain is basically like a blank slate that's just recording shit.
Damn.
Right? And so you don't know if you're traumatized.
Yeah.
Until later on it bubbles up when you're an adult.
Shit.
So say I'm 1 year old and I experience some trauma. I'm not this 1 year old being like, oh shit, I'm traumatized.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
you don't know what the fuck's going on.
My brain records it, but it'll pop up later when I'm an adult. So now I gotta fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
And
it's your job to deal with it. Otherwise, it can become a worse issue.
And correct. I'm speaking in general, but yes, it is my job to deal with it.
Sorry, my fucking Nala, go to your fucking bed.
There. Hey. Thanks. And so I work with ABA therapy. ABA therapy could be utilized to train dogs as well. It's not just special needs.
Look at how she looks at me.
Right?
She's like, she knows though. You see how she looks at me?
So you could, ABA therapy is special needs, training animals, human behavior. I could probably utilize the stuff that I learned at my school into business companies and and whatnot.
For sure, because
it's human behavior,
how people function.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people think, oh, you work with special needs kids?
Yeah.
Oh, that's unique. It takes a special person to work with us, and it's like,
listen, man. Let me give you the real shit.
Yeah, I'm like, this is human behavior.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just dealing with behaviors.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing.
But on an extreme level.
On an extreme and raw level.
This is what fascinates me, bro. Because like what I was thinking about, I'm like, look, if this is an extreme level, so it can be applicable to on minor levels as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because, and I feel like for you to approach that, it's got to. We're talking about emotional quotient, right? Like being emotionally intelligent, and like you have to be incredibly emotionally intelligent to have one of those types of jobs. And what I was thinking is that, man, when you have to really watch yourself, like watch your every move with these, because I'm sure there's extreme personalities that you have to deal with. So when you really have to watch yourself,
on eggshells.
Exactly, and that's when you're way more conscious of your behavior, the way you communicate, how you do things, and that can just trigger things for your life. You're like, oh, well, how the fuck am I communicating in my regular life with people, and how severe can these behavioral issues go? From what's the scale?
Exactly.
These might be the extreme, but how many people are in my life that are maybe a moderate, not the extreme?
You're right on it, man. Because and it's been a snowball effect of my learning. Because like I first started at this job, like I said, about 3 years. Like 3 years ago. Before I worked here, I was completely ignorant to special needs.
Yeah.
My experience within that population was extremely limited. It was like in high school, I would like help wheelchair them to their class, and that was it. Yeah. And then I had my own perception of what it was.
Yeah. Because you're so disconnected from it, you're not
correct.
Involved.
So it wasn't a realistic perspective. I mean, it was just
whatever you made up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so that's another thing that's really cool that I'm here talking about this, because I really want to talk to you as if I'm talking to myself from 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Because people are becoming more and more aware of
mental issues.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's where I work is a little different too, though, because I mean, like people want to talk about autism, and
yeah. And dude, that for me. My belief, and maybe I'm crazy. I just feel like that range. Yeah, exactly. I feel like that range of what autism is. What's the scale of it? I feel like it's thrown around so much, and sometimes in a way that isn't called for, but in a lot of times it's not called for. And people that have behavioral issues and like, oh, that's just the way they are. It's like, nah, that kid's. Yeah. It could be they're autistic or they have something's going on.
Right. Well, I mean, I think that made me really effective at my job is I didn't view them as like, oh, I'm working with autistic kids or I'm working with special needs kids. I'm working with humans, and a lot of the things that they'll engage in, I'm like, shit, I get that.
Yeah.
Like shit, I do the same thing.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So then I'm like, well, shit, am I autistic?
Yeah.
Because it's like that. What they did makes sense to me, but yet they're under a label of special needs.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about earlier. I feel like I don't like the whole special needs things. I was telling you, I like specific. I feel like it fits better. Specific needs.
That's it. But the crazy thing is we're all kind of specific too.
And that's
we're all
what I mean.
pretty particular.
Well, when you say something special, it's like I don't know. I don't think
it's like a nice way of saying they're wrong.
Exactly.
Or like
oh,
something's wrong with them.
And that's why I'm like,
it's okay.
I just feel like it separates people. You know what I mean? And other words that bother me are like, oh, celebrity or this. You know what I mean? And it's like you're putting people on different scales, and that's just a dangerous place to be.
And not to give, I don't need to give too much background of myself, but I also went to Cal State LA and I got a BA in sociology.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm considered a sociologist.
Yeah.
But as a sociologist, labels and generalities, man, that's my pet peeve.
Yeah. I hate labels, bro.
They are like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, they? I used
Won't you like
I used
why?
to some of my coworkers that I work with, I'm like, yeah, I really like to work with at-risk youth.
Yeah.
Oh, at-risk youth, they're so loyal. What?
Like, yeah.
Like,
which ones? What are you talking about? I'm talking about a specific group.
Yeah. So like generalities, just always. Yeah. I'm like,
I'm the same way, bro. I don't like
where it's
that
like,
shit.
Be specific, man.
Yeah.
Your words got power.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Be more specific. And so going back to what you said, they're not necessarily special needs. They just have some specific ass needs,
as we all do. But I just but on an extreme level,
Correct.
Man, it's funny to me because like the more and more I think about this shit, I'm like, man, the more and more I see it like recurring in life, right? Mm-hmm. Like how many different people you interact with that have these maybe not on an extreme level, but they have these mental disorders where they think that behavior is appropriate, or in their mind, this is all there is. You know what I mean? Yep. This is all there. And I've come across a lot of people in my life where they're like, there's no other way. This is the only way. And you're like, your parameters are this wide. So like, for example, a big example is that I use it. I as a kid, I was just fucking crazy. I was always looking for the sketchiest shit possible, right? Mm-hmm. So my parameters of danger are way wider because I've been real close to the shit. You know what I mean? And I've been far from it, and as opposed to somebody who's never been exposed from it. So when people tell you like, oh my God, this is life or death, I'm like, I have a completely different definition of life and death, of what extreme situations are.
Well, and that also goes into, like I said, my sociology thinking is there's always a society, right?
Yeah.
There's so many. There's obviously the society that you have, quote unquote, that everybody always knows about. Society is making us do this.
Yeah.
Or, that like there's that. But to me, like right now, this is a society that we have right
100%.
now. Me and you.
Curious Radio, also, everybody listening.
Right, Curious Radio,
everybody
right?
watching all this shit.
Exactly. And we have our own set of norms. And so with every society, there's a set of norms and there's a set of deviant behaviors. And the deviant behaviors are basically just what's frowned upon.
Yeah.
And so with any group of, I'm with my family.
Yeah.
The shit that I do with my family might be normal.
Yeah.
With my family.
Yeah.
But I go out with my friends and my friends are like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, dude, that ain't cool. Don't do that. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Right.
Yeah.
So exactly. It all depends with wherever you're at. Yeah. So what I've learned is, I have a wide range of social networks. Yeah. So I definitely try to buffet it. Yeah, I pick and choose what kind of norms I like, what kind I don't. Yeah. I try not to judge people who engage in certain abnormalities.
That's your journey, man.
Right, exactly. So, exactly. Yeah. So, if you think about the school that I work at, it's literally a microcosm of society as a whole, to the extreme extent. Yeah. So, for example, this school is from ages 6 to 22.
Ooh, shit.
Right?
That's a big gap or a big range.
And we have an adult program. So there could be, even people from in their 30s.
Shit. Oh, shit.
And so basically the special needs label gets placed, I guess, is when they have these cognitive disabilities. Mm-hmm. I could have a 22-year-old who's acting like a 1-year-old. Mm. But their brain is working like a 1-year-old. It's not like their brain's not working. Yeah. It's just they didn't get developed.
Honestly, bro, it really helps me to look at shit like video games, bro. And this is like an avatar we're plugging into.
We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what it is.
And it's like your body is this avatar.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe your avatar did get to load.
That's what I meant. Yeah. But the brain didn't. It had some kind of issue that impeded the growth of the brain. But everything else is it comes through. So it's like it's not broken. This one's just this specific part of it has been impeded because of whatever nutrient deficiency or whatever the fuck
it is. Yeah. Right. Whatever. And that's the thing. It's not. I don't necessarily work with only autistic kids.
Yeah. No, I know.
It's a brain development mental school. So there's Down syndrome, alcohol fetal syndrome, or fetal alcohol syndrome. I always get those two mixed up, which way it goes. But it's not just autism. So basically what it is like if the mother is pregnant and
she's an alcoholic.
Right. Whoa. And so all these disorders or learning disabilities
and they're pretty common across the board with that disorder. As far as like the symptoms are very similar for all these people that just have mothers that are alcoholics.
Usually, yeah, usually, and it's hit and miss.
One of our current events, bro, it's about alcohol. We'll talk about it after, but it's fascinating to just say that. Yeah, I'm like, damn.
Yeah. So actually, I kind of was giving. I don't know if I gave enough context to the school that I work at, but what I really wanted to kind of go into is what we're gonna talk about is human behavior. Is what I realized is basically the behaviors of these students are just symptoms, and so what a behavior is observed and measured. Like you being hungry, that's not a behavior. I'm in love, that's not a behavior. Somebody smacking you in the face over a repetitive amount of times, that's a behavior.
We have an issue,
right?
You can't be slapping me in the face. I don't give a fuck who you are,
right? Because I could observe it,
and you can report it,
and I can measure it,
or you can measure it,
right? Well, I mean that's basically what I do. And a behavior is communicative.
Communicative.
Yeah. You're communicating something. With a behavior. You're trying to. And 95% of the students that I work with are nonverbal. They can't talk.
So they use their physicality to.
They use whatever means they can. So some of them. So
I'm sure that's one of the easier ones.
It is
physically to say something.
It is, but it just depends on the student though.
Yeah.
Because I have a student who will be self-injurious and all they want to do is beat themselves up.
Fuck.
They won't touch you.
Is that how they want
That's
attention?
How they communicate. Wow. Okay. So thank you. You're getting ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
But basically, the behaviors are a symptom, and just like for example, if you have a fever, right? If you have a fever, you're gonna want to try to treat the fever. You want to bring it down and whatnot, But a doctor is gonna be like, okay, wait, why do you have a fever?
Yeah.
You could have a fever for many different reasons.
Well, doctors should be like that, but they're not.
They're
not like
right?
That. They're like, here's some fucking.
You would hope so.
They're supposed to.
It depends what kind of doctor you're talking.
They're supposed to be preventative, but they're really medicinal.
That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, exactly.
But so basically,
why do you have a fever?
What is the function of this fever? What is really the root reason?
Yeah.
Because you could have, a fever for so many different reasons.
Yeah.
So a behavior is basically like a fever. It's a symptom that's serving some type of function.
Some underlying issue that's behind that.
And so with every behavior, there's 4 functions. It gets very simple. They'll do something because they want some type of sensory.
Okay.
Because they want to escape.
Okay.
Because they want attention. Or tangible. Because they want access to something. So SEAT. Seat. That always reminds me of it. Okay. SEAT.
Sensory. You know what, man? You ever been in a sensory deprivation tank?
I haven't. I can't say I have.
And those are a trip, bro. And
I bet.
You know what I mean? Because you're deprived all of your senses. And I can imagine if you have some kind of condition where you're deprived of one of your senses or something. I can imagine how fucking frustrating that might be. You know what I mean?
And because you get frustrated, maybe you might act out in aggression.
Yeah.
Maybe you might act out in these behaviors.
Because for me at least, the only way I've been able to deal with because those are, the mind will take you wherever it wants. And if you're in those sensory deprivation tanks, the only way to deal with it is really to relax into it. How the fuck do you tell somebody that when it's an uncontrollable effect that comes into you all the time? It's easy for me to jump in there and be like, I want to get, go through this process. So there's sensory. What's the other one?
Seat. Sensory, escape, attention.
That's what Alicia was telling me.
That's what we're talking about,
right? Yeah.
Well, eloping is a behavior, and the function of that behavior would be escape.
Yeah.
So there could be so many different behaviors that could align with escape.
Alicia has that.
And I try to find the parallel between what I'm learning at work with my everyday life.
Yeah.
So I try to think about, okay, what are my behaviors that serve the function of escape? Okay. Sometimes I'm having a badass day, or sometimes I'm thinking way too much, so I'll smoke. or I'll drink.
Yeah.
That's my self-injurious behavior.
Yeah.
That's serving the function of escaping.
I had a shaman tell me that once.
Really?
A shaman was like, it was a lady actually, like a lady shaman. She was telling me about, it's like, yeah, she's like, you smoke a lot of weed, right? And I was like, maybe.
You're like, mind your business.
Yeah. Why are you asking me questions, lady? What's up, shaman? And she's like, yeah, look, she's like, we all do things to find comfort, right? Like when we're drinking, we're seeking comfort. When we're smoking, we're seeking comfort. She's like, your journey is to seek comfort without, having having you. So for me, like one of the biggest things has been working out. That's what keeps me like.
Okay. Once again, you're ahead of the game.
Yeah.
So, right? So, working out would be an appropriate replacement behavior for your smoking.
Oh, nice.
So, if you want, so basically what I do as my job is behavior modification. I have to identify a behavior, try to figure out what the function is of that behavior, and then not just be like, okay, we need to stop this.
Yeah.
You can't just stop a behavior.
You got to give them a new
route. You have
route.
to replace it.
Yeah.
Which serves the same function of that behavior.
Yeah.
So
you're rewiring their brain essentially.
Basically.
You're building new dendrite. This is your new information highway. Whenever you want this, you go to this information highway, not that one. You don't beat yourself. You tell me this.
So you, for example, you smoke to escape.
Yeah.
And what are you doing? Instead of smoking to escape, you're working out.
Yeah.
You're replacing...
I'm getting more in tune with my body, if anything.
Well, I mean, that
you know
too.
What I mean?
That too.
But I'm saying, ironically, like instead of escaping, I'm literally going into the body more, deeper.
Right. But I mean, okay, specifically with working out. But say, for example, like me, right? Yeah. If I want to replace smoking or drinking, I'll write.
Yeah.
Or I'll make a beat.
Yeah.
Because... And this is where behavior modification could get. There's a gray area.
Yeah.
Because basically what it is you're getting an inappropriate behavior and you're replacing it with an appropriate behavior. But going back to what we were talking about with societies, well, what's appropriate and what's inappropriate?
Yeah. What
it depends. It depends on the norms and the deviant behaviors, or the abnorms of that.
And also, like, I'm sure there's got to be extreme situations where you probably have to work your way down from something.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Where you can't just be like, we're going to go from this to fucking one.
No.
You know what I mean?
It's literally, and so, yeah, I can
imagine it's got to be retraining, rewiring the brain.
Because
process.
Each student has a behavior sheet, right? And so it's like, for example, I could go into work.
What does it have on the behavior sheet? Like?
Well, it depends on the student.
Okay.
Because it's completely individualized. It's completely specific.
Okay. Nice. So is it like one of those like doctor?
No.
You know what I'm talking about? Like how they come and they have a whole fucking. Right.
No, it's literally something. So the one-on-one aide, who, like I said, what I used to be, and the one-on-one aide is with this student the whole day.
Yeah.
And it depends on the student who you have. Some days I'll walk in and it's like, oh, I have so and so. Fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
it's gonna be.
It's gonna be a rough day. Or, oh, I have so-and-so. Yes.
Sweet. I ain't got shit to do
that
today.
student.
Sorry, Larry. You got the rough day today,
Yeah. And it's a rotation.
Yeah.
So
You get peaks and valleys,
Well, then I got promoted. I don't have that no more.
Yeah.
Like, I just deal with the most intense behaviors at all times.
Damn. So now it's 24/7.
24/7. Well, however long the day is.
Yeah, whatever. 8:40.
Right. But and then on top of my job too is I also have to coach the one-on-one aides on how to deal with it too.
Shit.
So it's like I'm literally utilizing the same behavior strategies with my students
that you are with the trainers.
Because sometimes I could be like, hey, maybe you should try this a little differently, and they're gonna look at you. Man, what the fuck? Who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, shit.
Same behavior. Shit. Let me go back to the basics.
Yeah. I'm like, wait, hold on. This person is disgruntled. Like,
exactly. But it's kind of, dude. I get caught up sometimes too, right? We get caught up in our own emotions. We think that we're this fucking avatar, right? But it's really our brain playing tricks on us.
Yeah.
I feel our subconscious, I feel like we're linked to a higher source. And that's just my own personal beliefs. I feel like we have infinite knowledge, infinite power. And we are all God playing a video game, right? Essentially, that's what I believe.
I know, hey, everyone talked shit on Kanye West when he was like, I am God.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
I was like, that fool. But now I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, I am God too.
He's got that song. He's like, this is a God's dream. You know what I'm talking about? And that's essentially what it is. And I don't know, for me, fuck, I lost my goddamn train of thought.
Damn, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No, it's not your fault. What was I trying to say?
Well, you were talking about how your brain is connected to a higher being, basically.
Yeah. I forgot what I was.
You could bail out if you want.
Yeah, I'm bailing out.
That's fine. Hey, there you go. Hey, shoot. I was gonna do eject.
No,
in college, me and my friends used to
was
eject.
Yeah. It was what was I trying to say? Oh yeah, we're all connected to like a higher sense, but we get caught up and we think that our avatar is controlling us.
Yeah, no.
But it's really, we're going through the body and we get caught up and we think that this body is controlling us, right? And it's our job to be like, oh, the Rick is feeling a little depressed today because the Rick had a bad day yesterday. And I got to understand that the Rick is having, and if you look at it externally like that, you can be able to, okay, well, you can almost look at it like a different person, because it's so much easier for people to try to pinpoint other people's behavior than it is to pinpoint their own behavior.
Yeah, you got to practice what you preach.
Exactly.
You know,
but it's so hard to separate yourself from the self because the ego keeps you attached to your avatar.
I feel you.
And I think our job is to be like, okay, let me detach myself, and that's where the skills you use in your work can come in handy, because if you use that, you're like, okay, well, why am I reacting? Because sometimes, like, you know, you'll snap at somebody, right? And you're like, you think about it later, like, man, what the fuck? Why was I snapping on them? Like, you know what I mean? What the fuck was I going through? Like, and it's, you know, you can go back and correct that however you want and be like, hey, man, I'm sorry. And it's so weird because I feel like a lot of people are starting to understand that the communication key, this generation specifically, man. You know?
Yep. Okay, so I'll say like 99% of the reason why the students engage in the behaviors that they engage in at my school is lack of ability to communicate. Like I said, most of them are nonverbal. Yeah. So they'll communicate the way they know how. It's extremely primitive. Yeah. You know, like exactly. It's unconditioned, raw. Their brain is just working the way the brain is meant to work. It's
working on its bare essentials.
I don't know how familiar you are. Like, I'm not a psychologist. You know, I do want to get my master's in psychology, but I took an intro to psychology.
I took a few psychology classes.
Right, yeah. And you know, you hear about Freud and whatnot. Yeah. And one of the things that I learned about him was, one of his perspectives was, mankind is like in its raw nature is socially unconditioned, is an evil being. Oh yeah. You know, like we're just trying to fuck up and fuck each other up. Yeah. But we're so socially conditioned right now that we don't do it. Yeah. That's why if you hear the term the mind of the masses, and that's through evolution. If you have a whole but if you have a whole a riot, you know? Yeah. People are gonna think differently because they're with a shitload of people. Yeah. They're not getting socially called out. Or
bro, whatever. It's really strange. Like I've been in like in the middle of a riot like before, and it's almost it's a
Someone
very
takes you over.
It's a very, I mean, I wasn't in like participating in the riot, but it was almost like it's a real weird energy that enters, like, and it's almost like you can feel the thick air, right? Like a weird energy, like, oh shit. For me, like, my antennas are super sharp, right? Again, from being in sketchy shit. So I'm like, people were just like, oh, whatever. And I'm like, something doesn't fucking feel right. Like, shit's about to pop off right now. Like, I could fucking
Spidey senses.
Yeah, bro. I feel you. And I can't.
Hypersensitive.
Again, learn behavior. That's why, like, I put an Instagram video. I was talking about, I'm so grateful now because I'm like, not only did I get out kind of unscathed, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't fucking die. I didn't get stabbed. You know what I mean? You know, like, so not like bad at least. So like, yeah, you know, like, you know, it's your small shit here and there, but you know, nothing crazy.
You made it.
Yeah, you know, and I made it unscathed with this fucking massive knowledge of like how people, dude, gang behavior is changing. I keep talking about this all the time. I'm like, gang behavior is so different now. Like it might not be on a global level, right? Because there's terrorism and all that stuff. But like, I think even that was such a primitive way, right? Gangs were like, you know, being tribal human beings, and like trying to defend their territory, and again,
very simplified.
And it was again learned conditioning, because before the internet, I always say this, it's like, you know, your whole everybody around you was involved in that. You know what I mean? So it's like you're downloading your behavior, and that's why I was trying to talk to you earlier. I was like, man, what I was telling you earlier, I was like, I wonder how many people we let into our lives, right? Not knowing what kind of mental disorders they might have. Right. And it might not be like a disorder. It might just be a behavioral or something, you know what I mean? Not knowing that. But feeling something. I always tell people, I'm like, man, we got to follow our intuition. There's got to be something there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I wonder how many people we let into our lives.
If you got an application and apply it to my job, your intuition skills are just go boom, like they go up. And I've always felt in tuned. You know, I've always felt like my intuition was pretty good, and maybe similar to the same aspect as you. You know, like I
well, dude, you and I when we met, it was essentially like, and a lot of times because I can understand people very well, and sometimes when I can understand, I'm like, oh, I gotta ease off this person. Like, they don't feel comfortable. Like, some people don't want to, you know what I mean? It's almost like a dance when you have a conversation with somebody, and sometimes, you know, that's why I'm like, it's very similar to you. Yeah, we're on the same wavelength essentially.
For sure, right? And fuck, now I forgot what I was saying. Sorry.
It's my coffee, bro. It gets me going.
Right? Bro. Well, see, we are on the same wavelength.
I was saying,
okay, yeah, intuition, right?
Yeah.
So, like, this is something that's always been innate. You know, it's like it's in me. And whether it had to have been learned or something, you know, but
you learned it somewhere.
A couple years ago, I was in a toxic relationship, so unhealthy. It was a little less than 3 years, and literally the only reason why the function of that relationship was escape, because I was by myself. I was dealing with a lot of stuff, and it didn't matter what she put me through. She was cheating on me a bunch of times, and it's like, fuck, no, and then I'd go back. Yeah, because being alone was far worse than what she was putting me through. Yeah. Because she was allowing me to escape with whatever I was dealing with in my brain. Yeah. You know, and so I would...
The discomfort of just being alone. Yeah. Just being in tone.
Which is totally opposite now. Yeah. So, but anyways... And so I remember my intuition would be so strong with her because she would continuously cheat on me, you know? Yeah. And I continuously dealt with it. Yeah. I enabled that behavior too.
And it's so fucking embarrassing to look back, bro.
It is. Like, but it's also relieving.
Yeah, it is. You know? Because you're like, oh, God damn, did I get it out?
Right.
But I've been in bad relationships too, where you look back and you're like, God damn it, man. Yeah. What the fuck?
That hindsight is a motherfucker.
Oh, bro, is it ever, man?
Right. But I remember one time, it was she already cheated on me like 3 or 4 times, right? Damn. And one night I couldn't sleep. I finally fell asleep. Like I smoked my brains out just so I could go to sleep. I wake up like at 3 a.m, and I'm just like, oh fuck, I go run to the toilet, I vomit, and I swear to God, literally 2 minutes later, she texts me at 3 a.m, just being like, hey, I'm sorry, I did it again. Like, I'm at my ex's. And I was just like, ooh, and I threw up again. But it was just like,
and she would let you know every time.
She was ruthless about it. But like, that's how dumb I was in my spot.
She knew she had you there too.
She knew, yeah, for sure. Yeah. And so, but you know, to me, that was always a mirror of where I was at.
Dude, your body was fucking telling you everything.
Intuition and so like I said, like
but again, like, it's shit we ignore. It's almost like it's God knowledge being like, hey bro, get the fuck out, and you're like, no, it's okay.
Purge.
It's okay, I'm gonna fucking make it.
Purge.
Yeah, it's just like the universe is like, all right, motherfucker, we're just gonna drag you through the dirt. All right?
Yep.
Honestly, and the problem, man, I have a similar thing, bro, because I figured this about. I like hard work, right? I like starting shit, and even if I find out it's fucked up, I'm like, all right, my ego wants me to be like, I can fix this.
That's exactly what it is. Oh, she fucked up on everybody else.
Yeah,
I'll change her.
Yeah. Or she's had this issue before. Fuck no.
Yeah, right. No,
the only way you'll change it is by bouncing.
Yep.
You know?
And I bounced.
Yeah. That's the only way you'll change it.
Hey, but she's still the same.
Yeah.
I saw her like a couple months ago, like randomly.
Hey girl, you fucking up. Change your life.
And I was like, and it made me feel so good because I'm like,
you're at a different point.
I'm so far from where I was, and she's still in the same spot. And it's like, but I mean, the only reason why I'm not trying to just rag on her, it's like the main reason why I was trying to explain my
you, man.
I'm like, but if I can't explain it, but my intuition has always just kind of been that strong. Yeah. And so I take that into my job, and there's times where same shit. I could walk by and I'll see a student walking a certain way, and I'm like, something's about to fucking go down. Yeah. And the one-on-one aide won't know. Yeah. They're just living their life. Yeah. And I'm like, no, I need to stay here. Yeah. And then, whap, 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 you know, and it's just like pop off.
Oh, yeah. It's so funny you said that, bro. I remember I was at dinner. I was with this person, and they were, they're not very good with people, right? And I remember, and this should be a red flag that I should ignore.
It should be.
You know, sorry, shouldn't be ignored. You know, when people are like, I'm not good with people, you're like, you know, you look.
Why'd you say that?
Yeah, are you just trying to tell me this because you're gonna be a piece of shit to me?
And then be like, I told you from the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and to try to justify your behavior ahead of time. Here's a disclaimer. I'm gonna be an asshole to you. I remember we were at dinner and we were like, we were eating and the waiter came through, and I always try to make waiters feel comfortable and shit.
I feel you. I used to be a waiter.
Yeah, it's really weird. I always look at their name tag. I don't ask them their fucking name. They always say their name when they walk up, and I'll refer to them as their name, and I'll just, I'll be like, "What's up, man?"
Treat them like a human.
Exactly, and I won't make a big deal. I know you're here to do your job. I'm here like, look, I don't need your fancy shit, bro. Just look, I just need water. Here's what the fuck we're gonna get. It's all good. And I remember the person I was having dinner with, they were like, "Dude, you were totally rude." I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I was talking, and I was like,
"Who are you?"
Yeah, and they were like, "Dude, I could feel it. It was really weird." I'm like, as a matter of fact, what you're feeling is their energy. Like something's going on. And sure enough, fucking like 5 minutes later, these guys that were sitting next to us, it was like this fucking fat. He's this producer. I know who the fuck he is too. Not like I know him, but I know of him. Right. So he's this producer, and he starts throwing his fucking fit, and he calls the manager over, and this and that, like, we're sorry, we're gonna comp your meals, this and that, and he was the fucking waiter. Damn. So I was like, man, and I'm like, this motherfucker's having a bad day. He probably just got bitched at by these people, and I'm like, he's all tense, and I could feel that something was off. You know what I mean? I didn't really. I was like, I'm trying to maybe having a fucking crazy day. I don't know. Yeah. But I could feel something was off. I'm like, whatever. And I remember after that, I was like, you know what? Sometimes you got to insert the opposite thing. So they were like, no, we're going to pay for everything. Just know that your service was shit. And then they wrote on the receipt, my nosy ass, our tables are closed. And I'm like, what did they write on the fucking receipt? I'm looking at the receipt, and it said, like, horrible service. They wrote the homeboy's name out, the fucking, the waiter. Right. And I'm like, damn, this is like some 20-something-year-old kid.
What the fuck purpose does that serve you? Like, do you feel better about your life?
Yeah,
that
bro.
You got to call him out on a receipt?
He's fucking serving you, bro.
Right.
So what I did, I was like, man, fuck this little entitled prick. I went on Yelp, even though this motherfucker the service wasn't good. Because he was so nervous, though. Right. I think he was altered. I think it's when somebody calls you in your shit, you start being weird. So I went on Yelp, and I left him a positive review. I made it up. I was like, yo, homeboy was dope.
Was prompt.
Yeah, he was good. Yeah. But just so my homeboy might lose his job, I felt bad for him.
Yeah.
And it's funny, the general manager of the restaurant reached out to me on Yelp, and he's like, "Hey man, thank you for your positive review. Here's
we don't get that often."
No, dude, no, it was a good restaurant. He sent me a fucking comp meal thing in the mail. He's like, "What's an address I can send you?" I was like, "You see, bro, you put more positive into the world.
Yep.
You get some positive back."
Oh yeah. You know? And I don't do my job for that reason.
That's the best way to do it.
However, I realize it comes back.
100%.
You know, so it's like, well, shit, I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, like one time I was, a Sunday watching football, at a bar, just chilling, having breakfast by myself, enjoying my Steelers play.
But honestly, once you become comfortable with yourself, that could be the funnest fucking time, bro. By myself.
Now, like people hit me up, and it's like,
I'm busy.
Nah, I'm gonna have more fun by myself.
Nah,
like
you in competition with me.
Yeah, and
that's steep competition, man.
Right. But, so this one time, and this random ass guy, he was by himself. Yeah. And he's just like, hey, what do you do? And I just started telling him what I did. And not bragging or anything, literally just informing him what I do. And I was like, all right, man, I'm about to head out. And he's like, hey, I already got your tab. All right, keep it up. And I'm just like, oh, fuck, okay.
Dope.
Shit.
Hell yeah.
I'll take it.
Free game, free fucking meal.
Watch, now I'm going to bars like, hey, I work with special needs kids. Hey, I'm special.
You wear a fucking shirt.
Right? And they're like,
with a little star on it.
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah, I know. Look at his asshole.
Anyway.
Like those guys who do the what is it called? The Valor. What is it called? Those dudes who dress up like they're an army, but they're not in the army.
Oh God, yeah.
You know, like you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like Stolen Valor is what it's called. Stolen Valor.
Yeah.
And like there's a bunch of videos on the internet of these dudes like calling them out, like, where'd you serve? This is
yeah.
And they have all these you just getting discounts.
Afghanistan.
Yeah, exactly. Shit, man.
Nah, that's the trip.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. You know, it's funny because like I had a similar thing, man. I was in a relationship a while back, and I remember that person would put me through shit where I'm like, what the fuck? but it's learned behavior, right? Because my dad, and I was thinking about this. My dad has always been a very patient person, and that's an aspect that I didn't really get from him, right?
Okay.
And my mom is very impatient. So I almost have either or. Either I'm patient as fuck or I'm not patient at all. And in this relationship, I thought that my test was like, you know what, maybe this is just me growing my patience. This is me growing that aspect of my life. This is a test in this in the video game right now where like, hey, usually, because I'm usually fucking cutthroat, bro. Like if a girl does me dirty or she's doing something, or I don't know, whatever she's doing, I'm out.
I feel you.
I ain't no warnings. I'm out. You ain't never seen me again, girl.
You elope.
Yeah, I'm out. and it's not it's not even, it's more of being like, you had your chance.
Yeah.
I know my fucking place in the world. You had gold.
You had gold.
You had gold. You fucked up.
The diamond in the rough.
You know what I mean? Like, you fucked up.
Fucking
So I'm
Jabbar,
out.
Man.
I'm out, and I'm gonna let you live with it. And that's, not me fucked up, but I know that I'm light and I'm dark. You know what I mean? And there's an asshole inside of me, and sometimes you push people. So I'm like, it was weird because I was realizing that my dad's the kind of person that he's too lenient on shit. You know what I mean? He takes too much damage, and I remember I used to get frustrated with him because he has his own.
You
business.
learn from his mistakes.
Exactly.
Or
you know what I mean? Or I was
maybe
even,
not mistakes.
I was recreating his behavior, and one day I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm doing the same exact thing he did.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
you ever really want to get to know yourself? Truly, get to know your parents. Get to know your family. That's what I've learned. My parents separated about 5 years ago. And recently.
That's crazy.
But even more so, like, I've been in Long Beach for about 5 years.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm
LBC.
Right, Long Beach. And but my parents were talking with each other still, even though after they split up and they were moving on. And so it wasn't until maybe like a year ago where it felt like that they separated.
Damn.
But but because of the separation, I specifically was hanging out with my dad at one time and then with my mom at another time. It was never I'm hanging out with my mom and dad.
Oh yeah.
So I got to know my dad as my dad, and I'm like, fuck, you do that?
Yeah.
I thought I was unique. Yeah. Like, I thought I did this shit on my own.
Damn it, I learned it from you.
Yeah, I was like, man, you do this shit. Yeah. Same shit with my mom. Fuck, that's how you are?
Yeah.
That's how I am. Yeah. Like, shit. So it's like, I started wanting to hang out with my parents more.
Yeah.
Just to maybe, like, prevent some behaviors that I don't want to engage in.
Hey, can you tell me where else you fucked up, Dad, so I avoid that?
Or maybe enhance myself in behaviors that I know that they engage in too. Yeah. So, because I could relate. My dad's in the same field. Extremely patient.
Yeah. Too much.
And that's where I was with my relationships.
Yeah. Too much.
Overly patient.
I had never done that, so I that's the approach I took.
Right.
And the problem is that I'm with extremes. I'm either not patient at all, or what I'm saying. And I was trying that. Right. So that was your go-to all the time, to be patient.
All the time, and that's why. And it's a gift and a curse.
Yeah.
At my job, shit, it's a gift.
That was the hardest thing I've ever had to do.
In relationships, it's a curse.
Yeah, it's a curse. Yeah.
Well, it can't. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess it depends.
It could be a gift. For the right person.
But then there's time. Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, it takes two to tango.
Yeah.
So it also depends on the other person. But patience, they always say patience is the virtue, but I'm like, fuck, man. Sometimes patience is a bitch. Like,
yeah.
Like,
sometimes patience is a motherfucker.
All I'm doing is waiting.
Yeah.
And just nothing's happening.
Yeah.
You know. So and this goes back to probably one of the biggest things. The most important things that I've learned in my life is, and I'm sure you already know this, but it's about balance. You said your dad's crazy patient, your mom's crazy impatient.
Yeah.
You find that balance,
in
you're
between.
right along that line,
I love talking to my parents too, bro, because now as a grown adult, I can understand why the
you
divorces happened.
You took away the label of mom and dad, and now you see them as a human.
Honestly, bro, I almost see my parents like kids, bro.
That's how I see my
bro. It's really strange. You know what I mean?
Sometimes I'm more of a dog.
For real, because
like, come on, get your shit together.
I know exactly. But the thing is, like, because my mom was real young when she had me and shit. My dad was actually he was a little bit older than I am now, but he was like 2 years older than me when he had me. But I'm like, I'm like, basically, shit. I was
put yourself in their shoes where they were at.
By my age, my mom had she had a 8-year-old. You
right.
know what I mean?
And that's kind of the norm too. With
and culturally,
our generation, a lot of, and like it's just.
But that I feel like that could be in a lot of ways it'll either stunt your growth or that could be the end of your evolution because you have to now dedicate your time to another person. You're never going to be number one again.
Always felt like my parents, their brain got stunted. And I hope they never watch this, but
Mijo,
yeah.
¿Qué es esto de my brain got stunted?
Check out this podcast. Oh, wait, actually, never mind.
Never mind,
no.
Not you.
But
everybody else except for you.
Yeah.
You too, then. Sorry.
But I always felt like their development kind of stopped once the family got involved. And then the thing is, we all went to college. I have 2 older sisters.
Nice.
I'm the baby, right?
Nice.
So I was the last one. And I go to college. When I finish college and I move back home, my dad's like, "Hey, guess what? Me and your mom are getting divorced." And prior to that, right? I'm like, "Oh, motherfucker, what?" Like, God
welcome
damn,
home, son. We're getting a divorce. Find a new job and find a place to live because you gotta fucking go.
Yeah. And hey, shit, that was my quarter life crisis. Yeah. Like, I hit rock bottom, and it was like a perfect storm of events. And so it's like I got stripped down. And so that was before the relationship I had that I was previously explaining. And so because I was stripped down to the core, I didn't want to think of shit. I didn't want to go through shit.
You were vulnerable as fuck.
Boom.
And you know what's crazy? Like, they see that, right? It's almost like it's a predatory instinct that they have. And they're like, I know who I can fuck with. Or I know where you're at right now.
And I learned, I self-analyzed and analyzed situations where I realized she was emotionally bankrupt.
Oh, yeah, for
and
sure.
And I got nothing but emotions.
Exactly.
So it worked.
Yeah.
It meshed.
Yeah.
And I was a perfect victim.
In a toxic way, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's fucked up, man, because a lot of times it's like, you know, for a lot of relationships, like people I always describe them as black holes, right? Where they have this void, right?
Yep.
And they expect the entire world to fill it, right? But because they're too fucking scared or they're too fucking... It almost makes me angry, you know what I mean? Because I understand the potential of human beings, right? Because I've seen my own potential. I'm like, well, shit, if I could do it, this motherfucker from born in South Central, like, if I could fucking do it, anybody can, you know what I mean? Right. So it's like, I've seen, you know, the fucking extremes that we can go through to do things when somebody just said, like, they just, I just can't do it. I just need someone else. And they're just a fucking taker, you know what I mean? Or a black hole. And they're like, give me all. And it's never, ever, ever, ever going to be enough. No. And that's the big problem, right? So she had this whole, I'm sure, in her fucking chest where she's like, you know, Antonio, fill this self-hate hole that I have inside of me. Because it's a self-sabotage thing, right? And it's like, it's never going to fill it until she does it herself. But nobody's going to do the fucking work. Exactly. Yep. You know, and once you bail out, she either has a choice to
she got a new person.
Exactly. That's the fucking problem. That's the problem.
Yep.
These girls, that type of girl will never fucking, she'll never grow, and she'll always be fucking miserable, and she's gonna keep lying to herself, telling that she's happy, until the motherfucker comes. You know what I mean? Like, well, then you're like,
or she figures it out.
That's what I'm saying. A motherfucker comes that when they leave her, and then she's like, oh shit, I fucked up. What did I do? I had a good one. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm gonna fucking figure this out. But the big part of that is being alone.
Hell yeah.
Solitude.
All last year, I kind of was conveying this to you the last time we talked, where I was an extremely social person. I've always been an extremely social person. I like to interact. Yeah. However, I mean, I guess I've been a little bit of both though. Like I like to indulge in being a introvert and a fucking...
I'm the same, bro. Extremes. Either I'm fucking going ham, I'm the life of the party, or I'm at home smoking a blunt by myself, bro. Watching dog
happy as fuck.
Having a blast. Sometimes more of a blast.
Sometimes I'll call off work because I don't know if you like. sorry.
Call off work just to go home.
Sometimes. All right. This is a little weird fact about myself.
I love it.
I love learning random shit.
Yeah, me too. It's fascinating.
Because as a sociologist, I realize the more information you have to provide context, the more like cohesive the brain works, you know,
and the more you can effectively communicate things.
That too, you know, because someone could operate under this one premise or this one perspective, and then I might come in and be like, "Well, did you know?" That and
you brought in their perspective,
and it's like, what?
Yeah, that's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah. Oh man. So that's all. That's all.
Knowledge on you real quick.
Right.
That's what this whole podcast is about. This motherfucker's dropping knowledge on all of you.
Exactly. Take notes.
Yeah. Hashtag you're welcome.
Right. So like History Channel. Fucking love the History Channel. However, I fucking hate it.
Why?
Because
you get stuck.
No, the History Channel got caught up in the whole system of shit where they realized the only way to maintain their profits is to make everything reality. So if
they got one show that just came out that's really good.
They have so many American Pickers, fucking Pawn Stars, Ice Road Truckers, fucking so many different random ass
and all the dope shit went out the window.
Yeah, or like I want to fucking learn.
I want Planet Earth.
I don't want to see no humans like give me some fake shit.
Yeah, I want lions fighting to the death.
Yeah. So the History Channel, it's a rarity. So sometimes I'll wake up, I'm getting ready for work, and I'll see Modern Marvels. It's having a marathon.
Oh, I love that shit, bro.
Man. They had an hour special on salt. And I was like,
word.
I grabbed my phone. I was like, doot, 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 doot. So, hey, I can't make it into work, man. I was like, History Channel. I mean, I didn't tell them that shit. I was like, Modern Marvel Marathon?
Bro.
The next one is about hearty breakfast in America?
I'm in.
Yeah, like.
Sign me the fuck up.
That's it. Like, I just want to learn shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Bro, that's my favorite thing to be like some random shit. People, my friends always joke. They're always like, why don't you ask Wikipedia? That's what they always
Wikipedia is not even true. Motherfuckers could write in their own explanation.
No, they're saying Rickipedia. Oh, because I always know some random shit about shit. They're like, okay. My boy Herm, he's actually been on the podcast.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that's wrong.
Yeah.
No,
exactly.
yeah.
Ask Wikipedia over there, and I'll be like,
what?
Yeah. And usually I'll know some shit about it. Why? Yeah. Because as an entertainer, I have a lot of free time, so I'm gonna fucking research.
Oh shit.
No, I mean also because the school system failed me in a lot of ways, and it was because.
Well, even if it didn't, you're only gonna learn a certain way.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What the school system
but that's what I mean. So the school system failed a lot of people, and I don't specifically. I'm like, oh, it failed me. Like it's more of they have one specific format, generally speaking,
to get you to work.
Exactly to make employees,
get
right?
you ready for the workforce.
And it was fucking poison for me. Just like the corporate world was poison for me. All that shit was poison for me. It's like slow torture until they put me in a music class. Then they're like, this kid's a next level genius. This kid, and I'm like, maybe motherfucker,
give
maybe
me some sticks.
Yeah, just give me exactly. And I was like, just give me something I want to learn. Yeah. And I became fucking obsessed. And then that changes everything, right? Because how you do anything is how you do everything, right?
Right.
And when you start becoming fascinated with learning something, you're like, well, what else can I feed my brain with? You know what I mean? And I've always been that way, but it's just never been what the system is wanting to teach me. Here, read The Great Gatsby. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about The Great Gatsby right now.
However,
I'm 17. I'm horny as fuck. Right. You know, I got a Camaro. I want to learn about crazy shit. What the fuck? Don't teach me about this bullshit, Great Gatsby.
The first book that I ever read from point A to point B was the autobiography of Malcolm X.
Oh, no shit.
And prior to that was like, man, fuck that book. Fuck every other book you give me.
Fuck books.
Yeah, fuck books. What you want me to read some shit? Yeah. Well, first of all, it's hard for me to read because my brain.
Yeah, same here.
I have to read a page like 10 times before I actually retain the information.
Yeah.
But no, it flipped my brain because in my head I'm thinking a ninth grader like, nah, man, I ain't gonna fucking read. Like that's bullshit. You know,
ignorant as behavior.
Yeah, exactly. Ignorant as fuck, naive. Let me see that shit on a documentary. Let me see let me wait for the movie to come out.
Yeah, you know? I don't fuck with books, but it's training, right? The more you do it, the better you get at it.
But I pick up the autobiography of Malcolm X, fucking page for page, flipping the fucking shit over and over. At that time, I was doing a lot of questions. I mean, I was born Catholic, and so
me too. Super Catholic,
right?
And I'm like,
always questioning shit.
Hey, man. Why can't I ask these questions, man?
Right.
I'm asking a lot of questions because these stories don't make any fucking sense.
I feel you.
And I'm like, Mom, okay, well, this is
I'm
great.
right there with you.
I'm like, Dad, why are we going to church? Like,
who
the fuck is this priest guy?
I'm like, wait. He loves me.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go to hell.
Yeah.
If I don't do this shit.
This don't make sense. I thought he says like, be nice and all this shit, but why I gotta kneel in front of a cross for 4 hours?
Right.
So he's got an ego too? Like, what the fuck? I thought he was God.
Yeah. Oh, but he's a man.
Yeah.
So that's why he's a
Yeah, exactly.
So, so I read that book and I swear to God, I was like, nah, I'm about to be Islamic. I'm going to convert to being a Muslim. And I grabbed as many books as I can and I read all this shit. I went to a mosque and I tried. Yeah. I tried. But then I realized, man-made.
Yeah.
Nah, it's just another set of shit that's full of rules.
They're also, I believe, essentially they're stories to pass down ethics, morals, and essentially conduct for the civilization. That's the best way. I feel like it's an antiquated way to pass down information. Like, this is the way we behave. We don't fuck your neighbor's wife. Don't fuck your homie's wife.
Yeah.
Don't kill nobody. Don't steal no shit.
Those were the norms at that time.
Exactly. So
and now they evolved.
Exactly.
And passed down. Right.
And that's why I'm like, now I get it. It's given us a lot of fundamental, useful things that we use in society today, but that's not the end all be all.
Right. And the funny thing is that at a really early age, I always felt like, man, you're fucking patronizing me. You don't think I know how to be a good person? Yeah. I need to fucking do this, and this to be a good person. Like, I know, like, I had a good I was fortunate enough to be raised in a good household. Like I said, at the time my parents were together. They're both sides of the family, very loving. I got a lot of ethics. Yeah. And at a young age, I realized the importance of perspective, because I grew up in Wilmington till I was about 6, which is like a small ass hood area in the shadows of Harbor, the harbor. Yeah. And near San Pedro, and then I moved to Mission Viejo, suburbia, culture shock. Nice totally as fuck, different. Yeah. Bougie as fuck, entitled as fuck. Yeah. But I was always going back and forth between Wilmington and Mission Viejo growing up because all my family was there.
That's funny. I was the same. Me in South Central, we moved away. We kept going back.
You were telling me that, right? Yeah. And so we were lucky enough to have that from an early age. I realized, wait a minute. Mission Viejo and Wilmington are the fucking same shit, but different toilet. Yeah, exactly. Because I would be in Wilmington, and they're like, hey, you gonna be what? You white boy? You gonna be what I was white? And I'm like, I'm not white. Like, no, I'm not white.
But you're not Mexican enough in that area. You know what I mean?
Go over there. Hey, what's up, Beaner? Oh, I'm a Beaner now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, shit, thanks, bro. If we could just switch these two sides, we'd be fucking money. You know what I mean? Good. It's strange. It's funny because like, it was the same. We moved out of South Central when I was like 8 or 9 or some bullshit. Mm-hmm. We moved to the Valley to Sylmar. Same thing. So there's Sylmar's two different sides. There's a hood ass part of Sylmar and there's a nice part of Sylmar. We live in a nice part of Sylmar. My dumb ass always, and I think it's learned behavior, right? I always, even from a young age, where I used to sneak out, go into the hood ass parts. I'd be in fucking Pacoima. I'd be in fucking Sun Valley. I'd be in all these places like seeking all this sketchy shit. And I think a lot of it was because I was exposed to it so early on, like you said. You know what?
And you romanticize about it too.
Yeah, bro. I didn't want to leave. I didn't want.
That's your home. That's your comfort zone.
Exactly, bro. And it was because in a lot of ways, wherever you, there was some traumatic shit that happened, right? Like the '92 riots. I saw that shit happen. Yeah. Like this fucking girl got shot in the head in front of our house, and I'm a little kid seeing this shit. But again, like that's expanded my parameters.
And like I said, who knows what other traumatic shit that you've seen?
Yeah,
that you
hasn't even come up yet. Yeah,
it was traumatic.
It's fucking crazy. It's just thinking back, like I can only recall certain things, but I'm like, man, what it helped me realize is like code switching, right? It's like I can speak how I'm speaking now, right? Or I speak differently with my friends. I speak differently at work.
And those are your societies.
Exactly.
Because you're able to move in and out different societies.
And that's what we were talking about.
You could adjust to different norms and different things. I know like how I'm talking right now. Fuck, shit, blah, blah, blah. I'm at work. I will talk the exact same way without the cuss words, or like or.
And it's almost like you don't even think about it. You just switch.
It's exactly. It's so easy.
That's why I love doing this podcast. Effortless. Because at work I'm not able to talk like myself. You know what I mean? And like I'm doing a commercial. I'm doing this. Maybe when the camera's off, but I'm essentially like, hey guys, welcome to the 19. Whatever the fuck I'm doing. I'm being whatever the fuck I'm doing.
But that's still admirable, okay?
Yeah, no,
I can't even do that.
No, it is. It's tight, but at the same time, like sometimes I need a creative outlet where I'm like, let me just fucking be me. Let me just talk, have conversations with people I fuck with, and that's why I do this. And we were talking about how that's really goes down to having an emotional intelligence, you know what I mean? Being able to navigate between different social circles, between different cultures. I've always been the guy. I rarely have beef with anybody. Just like I can count on my hand the people that. Yeah, neither do I, bro.
To me, it's kind of it's not worthless. It's just a waste of time.
Yeah, the way I deal with it, I'm like, okay, we have an issue. We're talking. What's up? What the fuck's the issue? Let's talk about it right now, bro.
Yeah. Why do you gotta engage in behaviors? Let's just communicate.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
And we were talking about this with the previous guest. Like, human beings do things that are counterintuitive to themselves because it's almost like self-sabotaging. Like, well, this person's going to say this. So, you know what? I'm going to fucking come at them like this before they even come out there, and you create a chain reaction of events.
And that happens all the times in relationships, too.
And in fucking real life where people get murdered and all kinds of crazy shit. You know what I mean?
Every day.
Shit.
It's crazy. I don't know if you have something you want to get into. Sorry, I was like,
no, you're good.
Okay.
Right now we're going into hot seat questions, bro. How much money for one of your ears?
How much money for one of my ears?
Yeah, bro.
Like I
What's
just
your
sell
number?
it.
You got no ear, bro. You can hear. You got a hole. Got no ear. How much money?
Oh, I don't know. I don't take a lot. Like I was like, I don't got much money.
I'll
so
take $20, bro.
Yeah, I was like, Van Gogh do that shit for free.
For real,
like.
send it to his girlfriend like, yo, girl, here's my ear. You like that shit?
To answer your question, shit. Why don't we put a number on it? $1 million.
Fuck it. You can put a
if that's available.
surgery. Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, $1 million.
We could negotiate if needed.
No, fuck it. Don't double down, man. You know what? $2 million. Fuck it.
$2 million. Yeah.
What was your biggest fear as a kid, bro?
Not being accepted. And the funny thing is, like, when I really think about it, I mean, I didn't even think about it. It just came to my head because I'm pretty sure that's what it was, and because it's still prevalent now. You know, same thing.
Going up
in
both
Missionville,
places.
not being accepted.
It's identity
What's up,
crisis.
white boy?
Yeah.
What's up, Beaner?
Yeah.
What's up? You know?
Yeah.
Identity crisis. Even my names.
Yeah.
Hey, when I first moved to Missionville, hi, what's your name?
Yeah.
My name is Antonio. Oh, nice to meet you, Antonio.
Yeah.
No, I said my name is Antonio.
Yeah.
Hey, Antonio.
Yeah.
No, my name is Antonio. Like,
Yeah.
And then after
Listen,
a while,
Antonio, just grab a seat, all right?
Everybody, this is Antonio.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Antonio! Antonio Montana!
Antonio, man, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know. But then after a while, hey, what's your name? Hey, how you doing? I'm Antonio.
Yeah.
I go to fucking Cal State LA.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? My name's Antonio.
Bro.
What's up, white boy?
Yeah.
Ah, fuck. I mean, my name's Antonio.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Fuck.
It's
Identity
weird.
crisis.
Bro, and I think a lot of that too, like, man, my parents gave me a name
least your
like
name was
Rick. Yeah, I know. They gave me the name, I think to like avoid like racial shit. I don't know.
Ricardo?
Yeah, it's not even Ricardo. It's just,
just
Rick.
Rick.
4 letters, bro. They give me a white ass name. Who is your favorite 90s hip hop artist,
Tupac.
bro? Tupac?
Yeah.
Yeah, give me another one. Give me a second one. Give me your top.
J
Give me the
Dilla.
top 4. J Dilla, of course. You told me that. Okay.
Yeah. Tupac, J Dilla, 90s hip hop artist?
Yeah.
Fuck. Well, I got into hip hop late 90s. Tupac, J Dilla. I guess I could throw in. Well, fuck it.
Tupac, J Dilla. You got two like.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like in 2000 is when I really upped my game.
Okay, give me. It don't have to be 90s. And just give me your top 4 hip hop.
Nas.
Damn. Okay.
And The Roots.
Oh shit, the Roots are really underrated, bro.
Or
I have
Black
that shit in my
Thought.
car right now.
Black Thought, who is the MC of The Roots, is to me top 5.
How tight is it that they're on
greatest.
Fallon?
That's dope for them.
I think it's tight as
It's
fuck.
amazing.
Cause I'm like, it's almost like
exposing them.
it's almost like Fallon's like a grown up version of like us, right? Where you're
Right.
like, hey man, I fucking like this band. Let me put them on my fucking show. You know what I mean? And this band's
Everyone's like, wait, this is the legendary Roots crew? I've
Yeah.
never heard of them.
Yeah, exactly.
How
They're
are they
like,
legendary?
We've heard about them a lot.
I'm like, man, don't even.
yeah, I know, right?
Don't even.
They
The Roots-
legendary underground. Kind of. Not
Black
even-
Thought was my shit. It is my shit, man.
Killing the
Did
game.
you hear his freestyle?
What's that?
Did you hear his freestyle?
No.
It's like a 10-minute freestyle. You gotta
Hey,
check that
what
out.
happened? Have you seen that? Have you seen Eminem's new cipher?
Yeah, on Trump.
It's kind of weird, huh?
It was kind of weird,
I
but
don't know, Eminem. Am I hating? Am I hating?
I don't know.
Bro.
No.
like,
You're being critical, and there's nothing wrong with being
I
critical.
don't even think it was being. It was just.
But that's not bad being critical. You know, a lot of people mistaken hating with being critical. Like if you
It's
all of
not.
a sudden you're
Yeah.
like, you know what? His delivery was a little weird in that freestyle,
Yeah.
wasn't it? The pauses were a little off.
I just feel
Why
like.
you hating, bro?
Yeah, it's true. You're right. Well, I feel like it was more of like, he was like. It didn't feel.
Well, it's Eminem.
Yeah, but it didn't feel.
He's dope as fuck. But
I know, that's what I'm saying.
He's dope as fuck, but
Regardless, but I just.
never felt him.
Really?
You know, like
Oh, I felt some
his
of his
talent. His talent.
His early shit got me.
Well, yeah.
When you're hungry.
Yeah.
Like 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying.
Yep.
That first album, the
Yep.
mass.
Press play, let it run.
Bro,
Yep.
fire.
I mean, how that Dre produced it, you know.
Yeah, but I'm just, but it's yeah.
for sure.
But it's one of it's a hungry, you know. Even through the wire with Kanye, bro. You know what I mean? It's just that hungry. You can hear that through the track, bro.
Yep.
You know, I'm like, man. Boom. Let's go to some current events.
All right.
Boom, boom. This is what I was talking about earlier, bro. So alcohol. Remember, we were talking about alcohol. People they're having kids that have a certain condition. What is that condition called?
Like I said, it's either fetal alcohol syndrome or alcohol fetal syndrome.
Yeah,
I always get them mixed up.
So they did a study, bro, with lab mice, and what they were saying is that essentially alcohol kills the reserve of stem cells So stem cells help our body recover. You know what I mean?
Right,
so
right.
it damages them. So
Makes sense.
And
that's why I say drinking alcohol is a self-injurious behavior.
Exactly.
That serves the function of escaping.
And it's going down to a molecular level.
Up.
And it says let's see. Let me start over here. Let's see. The latest work showed that acetaldehyde.
Sure.
Acetaldehyde slices through DNA, causing permanent damage. If the effects of the toxin are not neutralized by two natural defense mechanisms, the first tier of defense clears the way of acetaldehyde, and the second repairs the DNA damage. So essentially, what they're saying is that this fucking thing, we have defense mechanisms built within us, right? And
that's your microbiota, by the way.
Yeah.
Every human, you, I, or whatever, when you're born with a set amount of bacteria in your system that will fuck shit up.
Not only that,
for the better. Your immune system.
What's also crazy is that all the studies that have been coming out now, how much your gut is responsible for your brain's activity. You know, I always tell people here on the show where I'm like, when you have like a sugar craving or you have a fucking whatever, some kind of craving, it's not Antonio being like, I want a fucking cookie. No, it's the bacteria being like, we're hungry, we're dying, we need food so we can create. It's like any organism, right? It wants to grow. Mm-hmm. And it's sending signals to your brain saying, hey, get us some more sugar. Yeah. You see that? You say, fuck the rules, man. I know you're on diet. It's all good, man. Just give us. And then, and then it gets in there and it's like, oh, okay. And it makes it way more powerful. That's why when you're fucking deep in the game drinking a 2-liter of Coke a day, that bacteria is dominating your predominant thought. Yep. And it's going to be that much harder for you to break it and be like, fuck it. Today's the last time I drink a soda. And today should be the last day you drink a fucking soda if you're drinking soda. Bro, I worked at Coke for 5 years. It's fucking bad for you. It's horrible for you. But getting back to this.
Even though every now and then I'll have some soda.
Well, what they're saying is that, yeah, exactly. No, I haven't.
I hate soda, but honestly,
I haven't had one in forever, bro.
Nice.
It says, let's see. This is what's crazy that I found, bro. Like, this is part right here where it's talking about. It says the study revealed that the DNA damage was exacerbated when mice lacked the first tier of defense, a protective enzyme called aldehyde dehydrogenase 2, which is what like we have, right? I thought it was alcohol dehydrogenase this whole time. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Aldehyde dehydrogenase 2. Anyway, it's what our liver produces.
Right.
When it surpasses the amount of that, we get drunk because it creates a certain amount. So this is a threshold. Your first drink, you're producing this chemical, so you're not drunk. Second drink, you're still producing it. Once you get to that point where your body can't keep up with the consumption of alcohol, that's when you get drunk. Essentially, you're getting poisoned.
Right. It's a chemical imbalance, basically.
Exactly.
Your brain is all a chemical imbalance. Like,
exactly.
You take a drink, and your brain produces all these dopamines and you know
all these feel good.
Right. Feels good.
Yeah.
And it's not, but it's
Let
not
your hair
natural.
Down, girl.
That's why
the glasses off, librarian.
So you take a couple. And then say you have a 6-pack, and that 6-pack will produce X amount of dopamines in your brain.
Yeah.
Right? So now your brain's like, okay, if I go for a walk and these dopamines get produced, it's not the same amount of dopamines from that 6-pack. So it's not enough.
Yeah.
So now my brain is telling my body, wait, this walking.
This ain't cutting it, bro.
Yeah, you better get that bottle.
Bro.
You know, like, you better get this.
Why we come, man, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right. Yeah. But so that's why it's really important to find specific replacement behaviors that serve the same function as what you would, engage in.
I also think that people
that will also produce the same amount of dopamines for you.
I also feel like people have to chase things that are hard for them, and people always they take the higher route, the easiest. You do need a motivation, and I feel like the extremes are the only things. Back to this, what I was trying to say is that this is what's crazy about it, bro. About 8% of the world's population, most of those in East Asia ancestry, have an inherited deficiency to ALDH2, which is aldehyde dehydrogenase 2, sometimes known as Flushing mutation, which could explain the high prevalence of esophageal cancers in countries such as China. Fucking crazy. That the study published in the journal Nature focuses stem cells within the blood, which the body relies on to continually supply fresh blood throughout life. Blood cells were singled out because they can be multiplied readily, allowing the DNA to be sequenced more easily. But the scientists believe that the effects of the alcohol can be similar in other cells. It's crazy because it's still mice, but what they're saying is that they're seeing how this can replicate its behavior in humans.
And of
course that's how it is, right? But it's also like I don't know. I think we're starting to understand. We really got to get deeper to get an understanding of ourselves. You know what I mean?
So I mean, the only thing, or not the only thing, but one of the main things that I would, want you or anybody else who's watching or listening to take away is really try to figure out, okay, if you're engaging in the behavior that you're not necessarily proud about or you want to change, ask yourself, what is the function of this behavior?
Yeah.
Am I trying to seek some sensory? Sometimes I'll drink because it feels good.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll drink.
And it's okay to be that. Yeah. You gotta identify it.
Yeah, exactly. So you could, and Alicia was bringing up the same thing in the last episode where she mentioned how I have a student, he'll be hitting himself.
Yeah.
Whenever I present some work, he hits himself in the face.
He doesn't want to do it.
Because he's escaping.
Yeah.
That same student might hit himself, and I'm like, oh no, you're escaping. But maybe he likes the way it feels right here.
Yeah.
So so the sensory is the function.
Yeah.
Or maybe he wants me to look at him.
Yeah.
So now he's getting attention.
Yeah.
So you could engage in the same behavior, which could serve different functions. So that's what makes it really difficult sometimes, at least in my job. But you really want to identify the behavior, try to identify the function of the behavior. And if you feel like it's inappropriate and you want to change it, then replace it with a different behavior that serves the same function.
Boom.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, it seems so simple, right? It seems so
simple.
But
also the one thing that they make it known at our school, if I have a student who's 14 years old and all he does is hit people, he's been doing that his entire life. It takes time to replace that behavior.
100%.
Sometimes it takes almost the same amount of time it took for that individual to learn it.
And it makes sense. I say that about society.
Exactly. You can't be hard on yourself if you're fucking up and you're like, fuck, I fucked up. Like I didn't. No, it takes time. Keep it. It's all about consistency.
I have that written down over there in the calendar.
There you go.
Consistency,
but good consistency.
It's a
you
motherfucker.
Don't want to be consistently bad.
It's true. Yeah. And back to what you were saying. You were saying that to recognize these things that these behaviors that you're doing, right? And the best, as far as what I've been. As far as what I've experienced in my own life, the best way to identify certain behaviors in your life and what you're trying to accomplish with them is by spending time in solitude and getting down to the deep burrows of your brain, meditating, spending time by yourself, and falling in love with who the fuck you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the only way you really discover. You get to go with a fine-tooth comb through yourself and be like, what aspects of myself, where am I fucking up?
Self-analysis.
And you got to stay. Yeah, exactly. But you got to be there by yourself for a minute. Yeah. And it's hard. It's hard. Time. And it sucks. But that's the only way.
Well, and to piggyback off that too, so now I'm at a point in my life. Like I said last year, that was me. Now I'm definitely trying to expand my shit, put myself out there more.
And it feels better.
It does feel better, but because I'm also so conditioned from being an introvert, it's creating a lot of anxiety. Yeah. But I'm realizing it's not like when I'm going through that anxiety, my brain's like, you're about to fucking die. Yeah. Like that's what it's telling myself.
It's the same stress responses.
I gotta go through it. Once I go through it, I realize your brain. Maybe next time I might have another anxiety attack. But it's not going to be as bad.
It's a muscle.
Right. You gotta work through shit. You gotta move through shit. You gotta do that. But to piggyback off of what you're saying, not only do you necessarily need to have that time by yourself, but what I'm realizing now is I'm bringing people into my life or allowing people to come into my life. And it's important to make sure that the people you have in your life are not going to co-sign on your bullshit. Yeah. You don't want...
That's the best thing to have, bro. Right. I grew up with people that call... My friends are some of the biggest assholes sometimes, but you need that, bro. You need a lot of times
sugarcoating shit.
Exactly. A lot of times you see these people doing I'm like, where are your fucking friends?
Yeah.
Who the fuck's letting you do this?
Or maybe they have friends but they fake.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Or yes, people around them, you know what I mean? And I'm like, man, I keep some of my day ones around me because I know they're gonna give me that real shit, even if I don't want to fucking hear it. Right. You know what I mean? And that's what you need sometimes.
So that's what I'm saying. I for sure is. Yeah. What you're saying, you need that solitude because I could speak on that.
I feel like you
but you also need to
both.
When you have people in your life, be selective.
100%. Be way more selective.
Right. And not like, oh, that person's not cool enough. Like literally what kind of benefit, and not like in a like a selfish way. Yeah. Because I try to be the same way with whoever I interact with.
Yeah.
If they're doing some shit, I'm like, hey, that's some attention-seeking behavior right now.
But you know what it could be
ignore,
too.
You know
what it could be? It's I feel like it's rejection. We're not. We were talking about this in the other episode, right? A lot of times you wouldn't let people into your life that have things that you necessarily don't want in your life, but you're not good with taking rejection, so that means you're not good at giving rejection either.
That's true.
If you don't know how to say no, or if you don't know how to say no, you know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna let it's gonna be in everything. How you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah.
So that's the big problem too. I feel like a lot of times you have to be able to be selective and be like, hey man, like, you know, I don't know.
Well, it takes that emotional intelligence.
Exactly.
You know?
But it takes to develop. I honestly encourage people to spend a lot of time with themselves first to really figure out what the fuck you're about. And then that way you can, once you do that, now that's why you're selective now because now
I broke it down.
Exactly, you broke it down. And
even though I did have help, like I said, from my ex, she broke me down.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Sometimes that mountain has to be the motherfucker. You know what I mean? That's just
because I mean, sometimes you need some exterior, sources to fuck you.
But
up.
we don't change unless something extreme happens most of the time, right? Because we're humans and
in your comfort zone.
We want to get comfortable, right? That's why I try to keep myself uncomfortable, but I still do it. It's a normal human behavior.
I feel you. Yeah,
you
like
know?
I mean, there's plenty of times where I'll tell my family, "What'd you do this weekend?" And I was like, "Man, I had the craziest anxiety attack. Like I did this and that.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that?" I got to. I got to. Like, just don't question me. Like, it's gonna improve. Yeah. You know, so much to the extent where I used to be really good at public speaking, and now that I got promoted to be a behavior intervention assistant, now I have to public speak in front of my coworkers. Yeah. And I'm cool with everybody. Yeah. But I'm freaking the fuck out. Yeah. And I realized I went up there and I freaked out. And I'm like, no, this isn't right. Like, what the fuck? Like, I could public speak all the time. Yeah. So I went down.
But you hadn't done it in a long time.
I haven't done it. Yeah. And especially since, like I said, I got broken down. Yeah. So it was just like, I went back to the drawing board. Okay, what can I do I'm like, I need to perform more. Yeah. Yeah. I need to go out there more. It's the only way. So I was trying to do that. I couldn't find a comfortable enough venue to do that. Yeah. So I created my own. And that's where I was telling you about that the word potluck. Yeah. Which basically where people come through and they share, everybody shares. And so I did that specifically just to fuck with my anxiety.
But what's funny is that you're helping yourself, and in turn you're helping everybody else. Yep. Because everybody has to go through their own shit. You know what I mean? And
everybody at those events. You don't understand what this means to me. Yeah, you don't understand what this means.
Yeah, you're like, no, I do.
I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy.
Well, let's all get service of this shit.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's why it's like, look, you fix yourself, and those. I think I've heard you say this before, where it's just like the ripple effect. You know? Yeah. You do that, and then
they're gonna go fix somebody else. It's like, we were talking about it. It's like you throw a rock, right, and then that rock, and then you hit another rock, and those fucking waves interact with each other, and that's with Curious Radio. Essentially, what I'm doing is I'm just trying to share different perspectives. Thank you, brother. Mm-hmm. This is just different perspectives and we're trying to figure this shit out, right? Yeah. And what I'm trying to do is create a little community here where it's like, hey, man, let's have a thought experiment, guys. Mm-hmm. Let's all try to be the fucking best versions of ourselves. I'll tell you what my fucking artist journey's like, and I'm going to bring on people that I find interesting. And in turn, I'm not going to be selfish with the knowledge I get from people that I allow into my life. I'm going to let all you motherfuckers enjoy this shit, too. That's essentially what I'm trying to do. But it's funny, man. We keep going. I
don't know, right?
It's great. That's how podcasts go, bro. This is great. Back to another current event. This was crazy, but I didn't even know about this. Oregon lifts ban on pumping your own gas. I didn't even know they had a fucking ban on pumping your own gas in certain counties. Like, apparently there's 15 counties with population under 40,000 that they had to decriminalize gas pumping. I'm like,
fuck? So you get a ticket or something for pumping your own gas?
I don't know. It's apparently. I was reading this, bro, and I was like, "Is this like The Onion, bro? Like, what the fuck is this? Off the grid news?" I'm like, I don't know,
that's
man.
A reliable
because they put little testimonials, bro. Like it says some Oregon residents thought though didn't take kindly to the new law. It says, "I don't even know how to pump gas, and I'm 62, native Oregon. I say no thanks," said Sandy Franklin, posted on Facebook.
That's how they talk in Oregon?
Bro, I know, right? I fucking love Oregon. I know. That's just so random, bro. I'm like, man, I don't know. We should gotta stop using gas anyway.
Right?
And this is our last current event, bro.
I don't even have a car. So.
This is there you go, bro. Shit. Honestly, man, I'm thinking like if I didn't have to go everywhere all the fucking time, I wouldn't either, man.
Yeah, I feel you.
It's a fucking nightmare.
You got to. I'm about to get a car soon.
Yeah. Bro, you know what's trippy? The only reason I'm bringing this up is because I was listening to another podcast and they were talking about hot air balloons.
Okay.
And ironically, this shit came up on CNN today.
It's in Egypt?
Yeah, and it's in Egypt. And these people, check out this video.
Oh, no.
Hot air balloon crashes. Dun, dun, dun. But these people, a fucking hot air balloon with 20 people. I'm like, how many fucking people fit in this thing? Anyway, 20 people fell. And this is a different one. It's giving you a list of this video. Okay. We're watching this fucked up video of like people just dying on hot air balloons. Well, this one, it's just one person died. But I'm like, you ever been on a hot air balloon?
Hell no. I have a fear of heights.
But what do you need that shit for? Like, it's a big ass balloon.
Like, why can't you just like
go to a building?
Yeah.
Look
on
down.
Top of a building,
you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck do you want to do? Like,
nowadays, people could get drones and shit. Like,
bro,
videotape
like,
that.
What do you?
Pop it back
I just don't get it. Cause like for me, like I'd go up there, and I'd be like, cool, I get it.
It's like I gotta piss. What do I do?
Yeah. Can I get down now? I get it. I've seen it. You know what I mean?
Oh damn! I feel bad for laughing.
I know, right? How crazy is this? But I don't know. For me, it's like if you're getting, you kind of know what you're getting into.
Right.
Like that's kind of. They hit power lines. Oh yeah, that's the one. Their homeboy died.
Oh okay. I know in New Mexico,
one pilot was killed.
They have some event going on where it's just like a shitload of hot air balloons. That's what I was like, oh, it's not in New Mexico, it's in Egypt.
He hit the power lines. So this is just a video of a bunch of crashes, but this specific crash was in Egypt. It was 20 people, and then killing at least one person. It says, which I'm like, it's not too bad. 20 people, fucking
could be worse.
I know it's got fucked up for me to think like that way, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't know anybody.
Right.
Sorry guys, I don't mean to offend, but that's best case scenario. I mean, best case scenario, I guess, would be like nobody died. But
this is the best of the worst case scenario.
Best of the worst, essentially. That's it for our current events, man. We're an hour and 20 in.
Goddamn, for real,
yeah, bro. That's how fun it is, bro. You just go.
For sure. I was like, man, I didn't even talk.
Yeah. No, that's right. You're gonna see back and see the gems you drop, bro.
Okay.
You gotta give us one last thing to let people off on, man.
Okay, this is what it is. I'll leave you guys with the mantra that I've been telling myself over and over.
Money.
This past year, because I've realized it's not only about replacing your behaviors. I think crazy, intensely sometimes.
Yeah.
And people are like, "Why are you stressing? Just stop stressing."
Yeah.
Or why are you thinking so much? Stop thinking. And it's like,
oh, thanks, doctor. Appreciate it. That's what I gotta do.
So I took it to another level where it's like, well, if I want to try to get rid of these behaviors, I have to replace them, right?
Yeah.
If I have these negative thoughts, I can't just stop thinking. I have to replace my thoughts.
Yeah.
And people, I've heard too. Think positively. I'm like, wait, so am I supposed to like be like fucking Peter Pan and find a happy place?
It's so simply like said out externally, like, oh,
right.
It's like, bitch, you don't understand what's in my head. It's not that easy.
Right. So I basically created something that whenever I feel myself, and this has been a week old and it's been working.
Yeah.
Where
Try it.
Basically anytime I feel like I'm getting negative or I'm starting to spiral or the quicksand of anxiety or whatever.
Oof, I know that feeling.
It's literally like, hey, I am a powerful motherfucker. I am dynamic and I am loved.
Hey, I love that.
And I literally repeat that shit over and over.
Powerful motherfucker. I'm dynamic and I'm loved. I'm gonna plaster that shit right here. I'm a powerful motherfucker. I'm dynamic and I'm loved.
Yep.
Damn, bro. I like that.
If you guys need a replacement behavior or a replacement thought,
yeah.
Just whenever you feel yourself doing that shit, maybe plug that in and see what happens.
All right, Light Warriors, you heard it here, man. Fucking, I'm a powerful motherfucker.
I'm dynamic and I'm loved.
Hey,
that's
all right, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Curious
Episode
Radio.
44. Curious Radio. Until next time, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Love y'all.